in-laws are obsessed with me. Episode 60.
Not even a goodbye? Why such haste?
Tell me about it.
Why on earth did the princess bring her in as her lady-in-waiting?
What should I do? This is bad. Is the princess inside?
Did you hear about what happened to Countess Zahardt? She was apprehended for murdering her husband.
The official trial will begin in 3 weeks.
But is it true she killed him? Come to think of it, she became countess when she remarried the count after her first husband died. Don't tell me, he too was.
Well, we'll never know. And please, one shouldn't accuse her without any grounds. Her first husband killed himself after his family name had fallen.
He's right. And the former Count Zahardt was ill for a long time to begin with.
But it's been a while since the former count passed. So why is this being brought up now?
There was a rumor about a miscarriage a few months ago. Perhaps that has something to do with it.
I hear the Grand Duchess began to avoid the Countess around the time she was getting married.
It seems that family has a long story we don't know about.
Anyways, it's been a while since a noble was brought to trial. It's got everyone's full attention. And the representative who pressed charges is a vassal of the Grand Dukedom, I hear. I think the Countess is at odds here.
I've never seen the Lapillians get involved in anything like this. The Grand Duchess truly is quite something, isn't she? She's almost on par with an imperial princess.
The truth will be revealed through the trial. We ought not to speak of anything we might regret. I expect no less from a trial led by the imperial family. It's small, but definitely well organized. Judge High Priest, Prosecutor, Jury, Attorney. This trial is a result of the conflict between a stepmother and stepdaughter. It's perfect gossip material for nobles. Now that observing the trial one's prohibited, everyone is even more interested. Not to mention, that outfit would definitely draw too much attention. What is she thinking? Why is she dressed like that?
I never thought my sister would backstab us this way.
It's fortunate that there are no observers here.
My mom's going to be all right, right?
Please fret not. The jurors were selected from among nobles who are not at all related to the Grand Dukedom or the imperial family.
I already know that, but still. We're against the Grand Duke here. What if she's found guilty?
You and your mother are protected by the princess. So I assure you, we won't lose that easily. And it's not like they have evidence against your mother.
Lillian Zahardt, the defendant, has been accused of murdering Count Lewin Zahardt. Your Honor, the former Countess is claiming innocence. However, according to witnesses, her whereabouts on the night in question looked suspicious for a good reason. And it was none other than she who brought medicine to the former Count each night. On the day of the incident, she sent the servant away and began arguing with the Count. Please refer to the servant's statement we have provided.
Would the defendant please proceed with the cross-examination?
Lord Zahardt, did the Countess Zahardt press charges because she believed the words of a commoner?
That servant has been living in the Zahardt residence since childhood. He was the closest to my brother. I can vouch for him.
But Lord Zahardt, the Countess has also devoted her life in that residence. She even raised a child who wasn't her own. So why can't you trust her? Even though there were some rough patches, that itself cannot prove she murdered her husband. And it can't prove her innocence either. No more questions, Your Honor.
The counsel calls on the next witness. Raise your right hand and swear on the holy book.
I swear to say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I've been working as a family doctor of the Countdom for about 17 years.
What was the cause of death of the former Count? And why do you think it happened?
He passed away from his illness. He felt pain in his chest, and that's not out of the ordinary. It is indeed unfortunate that the former Count passed away, but I couldn't find any signs of foul play. The prosecutor just accused the Countess for using poison, but if that was the case, I would have known instantly. The former Count would have found it more difficult to endure the illness any longer, as he had been suffering for a long time already.
Good. It's working. Something tells me the judge is reacting in our favor. He's definitely on our side. The doctor's on our side too. They'll free Mom in no time.
You wish to accuse the Countess of murder? You're right. We cannot sit by and do nothing. With the help of the Grand Duke's name, we might even make it to trial. But mere suspicions won't be enough to punish her. You should know better. And if things go wrong, your father's servant might end up taking the blame for everything. We must find evidence that's convincing enough. Or do you already have an idea, Parashady?
Two weeks before trial. The Lapillion Mansion. I asked the Grand Duke to show me the ledger. Because I kept asking myself, what if? What if my stepmother bought the blood in advance? I made them stay in the annex to contain her and Reina, but I was afraid my uncle might be in danger, just in case. But how am I supposed to win? All this is nothing without proof. The ledger. Can't we use that as proof? She'll definitely be punished if the ledger showing sales of the blood becomes evidence. They also caught the dealer, so we even have a witness. However, we'd have to explain the symptoms and the source of the poison. That would mean this family. But people died. This family should take responsibility for that at the very least, should they not? Besides, it's not like this family is of low status. Even if this damages their reputation, that's none of my concern. Why should I worry about them? What about my father? And all those people who died?
I haven't seen you for days. I did hear you're rather occupied, but I was worried about you. I bought some snacks, but... What's wrong? Did something happen? Mother,
Then, are you saying that you will be his mother?
Yes. After all, why not?
Mother. Look. I let write this. I can read it too.
If the ledger reveals the secret of the curse, even the Grand Duke's entire family would be exterminated. Then what would happen to these children?
I'm sorry. I don't know what to say to you, Parashady.
I won't use the ledger as evidence. But we need other evidence we can use in the trial. Please help me.
The Countess married an ailing man and raised his daughter for almost 20 years. All the workers in the household, including the family doctor, know how much she devoted herself to the Count d'Homme. Please refer to the petition of the servants that we provided. We must take pity on this remarkable woman. She only did the best she could. Why would you accuse her of murder, and on what grounds? I am rather doubtful about the motive here. Perhaps to keep the Countess in check?
The prosecution, in cooperation with the Imperial Knighthood and Guards, carried out an investigation by questioning workers and merchants in the Count d'Homme. It was confirmed by multiple witnesses that the Countess frequented a certain pharmacy. But I'm curious, why would she go there herself when she could get the medicine from you?
Certainly, I could get them for her, but I always had to stay in the house. The Countess was simply being generous to lessen my burden. And I was the one who introduced the pharmacy to her. No one can ever imagine how challenging it is to look after a patient. I'm sure the Countess also needed to get some fresh air. She should never be criticized for stepping outside momentarily.
Well, let's say we understand why the doctor had to send a countess on an errand to buy drugs without any servants escorting her. Then I presume you know which drugs the countess offered to the count. Is that correct? Why, yes. Then you must have prescribed this drug as well, correct? Were you aware the drug is highly addictive?
I did prescribe this drug, yes. But it won't cause any problems if it is properly used. It only works as a painkiller for someone who is in severe pain.
This is the list of drugs the Countess purchased from the pharmacy she frequented. The Countess has purchased drugs as prescribed by the doctor since some years ago. But the problem is, she bought too many of them, and too frequently for how the doctor prescribed. And the painkillers she recently purchased weren't even prescribed by the doctor. Plus, the pharmacist testified that she demanded a drug that acts as an even stronger painkiller.
Objection. There's no proof that she used that drug on the Count.
Upon closer inspection, the painkiller she newly bought has ingredients that induce a certain measure of sleep. Anyone in the house would know that the Count had been sleeping longer and longer.
Huh?
Please refer to the bills of purchase and worker statements. We can tell from these documents that Count Zahardt had consumed more drugs than were prescribed. Narcotic painkillers and even sleep-inducing drugs were given to the Count, but he was a patient ailing from a heart disease. He was not a regular, healthy person. So how could you say that this is not a problem? This was obviously a meticulously planned crime. It was so subtle that even the family doctor thought the Count was merely ill. So I'd like to ask the witness, can these drugs not be harmful? Can you be absolutely certain that they cause no harm to a person's life?
They may be harmful.
Are you saying the drugs are what killed him? That I poisoned him? I didn't use any medication that would be harmful. There won't be any evidence.
But even so, she only gave him medicine to relieve him of his pain. You can't accuse her of murder just because of some painkillers.
Are you admitting that she deliberately drugged the Count?
The Count had frequent seizures. But only that day did he not survive the night. The servant is to blame. He didn't hear the bell ring because he had fallen asleep.
As I already mentioned, the Count's servant did admit that he couldn't properly see the situation due to his exhaustion. However, you'd have to ask the Countess as to why he had to be in such a state in the first place. The whole day, he was working on a task that several well-built servants would not be able to complete. The one who ordered it was none other than the Countess.
The council will announce the sentence. The defendant shall hereby be restricted from all forms of contact with the Zahardt family. The council shall also strip her of her last name of Zahardt. Additionally, the council sentences the defendant to 35 years of hard labor in a convent.
This doesn't make any sense. Shasha, wait. I'm sorry. If we did something to wrong you, I apologize for everything. But you should know better. Our mom didn't kill Dad. 35 years for some absurd evidence? Do you want her to die there? What about me? I get why you did that to Schiff. If you don't love him, sure, you could do that. But we're family. How could you do this to us? Is it because of the lawsuit over the inheritance? This is all a misunderstanding. I can explain. Please go back and tell them that Mom is innocent. They'd ignore me, but you're the Grand Duchess. They'd listen to you. Shasha. I have no one left by my side. No one.
Please, don't look at me like that. I knew this would happen. Please find out who is in charge of the convent she's assigned to.
All right.
I think I know who's in charge. But I shouldn't let my guard down and think she'll actually pay for her crime. Anyway, I managed to get her banished from the countdown. This should do for now.
We tidied up the room a little more while you were away. We prepared this rather abruptly. We're sorry for the inconvenience, Your Grace.
Thank you.
Then please get a good rest. I'll ask the servants to bring you your meal.
Ever since I found out the truth, I've been using the room near my office. I don't feel comfortable looking at his face. The moment Mother made up her mind, Dad would have lost his life either way. Even without the Lapillian's blood. If she had used more of the painkillers we presented as our evidence, that'd have been enough to kill him. So I can't blame him for not properly managing all the people who had their blood. I understand it, but still.
Parashady. You can leave the residence if you want. The contract and the terms for the cooperation, marriage, and matters related to the curse no longer apply to you. But as for your protection and the things you'll need to be independent, I hope you'd allow me to help.
Just leave me be so I can resent you.
Why didn't you tell me? I said you should be completely honest with me, did I not? It was evidence we could easily have addressed. Didn't I tell you? The imperial knighthood was under pressure of the Grand Dukedom. They were searching all the pharmacies you visited.
I didn't think that would be a problem. She's right. Who kills a person with painkillers?
Preparing thoroughly wasn't enough to win. That prosecutor is a clever one. He'd never let go of evidence like this. You brought this upon yourself. Why on earth did Her Highness introduce me to someone like that?
Your Highness.
Well, the lawyer seems rather upset.
What now? Shasha seems upset about the lawsuit over the inheritance. But we did it because you told us to.
Well, how else would you pay me back?
I'm telling you, Mom didn't kill Dad.
Yes. You do seem to mean it. But I wonder if your mother feels the same way. You used this to kill your husband, didn't you?
What?